Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new life, a series of talks with Rav Laitman. Hello, Rav Laitman. Hello. Hello, Nitza Mazoz. And we're talking here about health. Each time we're choosing a different topic from this huge field of health. And with the help of the Rav Laitman, we learn a new approach to this issue of health and life in general. So in our previous talk, we opened a discussion that was very interesting about the topic of depression. And we'd like to continue this show about the same topic and how we can take our lives to a better place. So Nitza, maybe with some opening words, you can talk a little bit about this phenomenon and what's happening in the world with depression. So really, this is a very worrisome phenomenon, and the World Health Organization declared this month that this is a worldwide crisis. The percentages of people who have depression from it's the light side of the spectrum to the heavier is something like 30%, maybe more. A lot of people are taking antidepressant drugs, and actually there isn't really a solution for this problem. The maximum you can do is to take something against it, but once you stop taking the medication, it comes back a lot of times. And for some people, for a certain percent of people, the medication doesn't really help. And so we see that this is really something that affects the entire population and all of the different kinds of communities and cultures, children, youth, adults, elderly people. This is something that happens really all over the place. And because this phenomenon is so worrisome, then we thought it would be important to talk about it and see why it's so prevalent in the previous years, more than it was before, ever before, and really how do we cope with it. And it was very, very important for us to receive an explanation about how we can help people who are depressed, and how in this state of depression, when they don't really want to communicate with the world and are very stuck within themselves, it's very hard to help a person who's depressed. They don't want to listen. Doesn't matter what we say to him. It doesn't matter how we behave. They'll always be sort of closed off within himself, which makes the problem even more difficult. So this is our difficulty right now also as a society. And the question is really, how can we start? Maybe the question is, how do we even approach such a person who we identify as depressed? It can be your child, it can be your partner. First of all, I think that 30% is not a number that really covers it all, because a lot of people don't understand or feel that they have it. And secondly, a lot of people suffer from a lot of symptoms of depression, and they can be a lot of even physical symptoms, backaches, physical things, blood pressure, or the opposite, diabetes. These all come from the nervous system, which suffers from depression, and therefore, from the level of our thoughts and desires, which is the highest level, our highest system in our structure, it comes down to our moods, and from there to our body systems and the tissues and the nerves and so on. Mocha, Atzamot, Gidim, Basar, Va'or, the 5 levels, the brain, the bones, the tendons, the flesh, and the skin. When there's nowhere to escape, then you can get all kinds of skin rashes. Even your mood changes, and suddenly you get a rash. So the problem of depression is a problem not only with depression, but it's also the cause of all kinds of other problems. We're not even talking about the results of it. You get suicides and divorce and all kinds of types of violence and drugs and etc., etc. These are such great percentages of our lives that this is the illness today. We don't understand yet how much it causes all the other illnesses at the end of the day. So how do we bring a person to some change? Because if a person is depressed, he's just like a cadaver that you can't really shake up. I think what we need to develop here are meeting places with a person in those same points where he meets the world that he still has, even though he's depressed, at his job, which he has to go to, or through the internet or TV channels that he still watches. This is where we need to have we have to be ready at these points of meeting he has with the world, which awaken him to enter a discussion or contact. It's not too heavy. It doesn't demand anything from you. He's on the outside. It's as if he observes even. He doesn't really participate. But in such a way, in a very uncommittal way, we can bring him into the network, and by that, gradually carry him with us. And finally, our purpose is to bring a person, our goal is to bring a person to these workshops, to these discussions, where he can talk with others, where he'll receive the influence of the environment, the good environment, onto himself. It can be just from passively watching the TV, even and then to situations where he's actually participating actively through the internet, participating in such discussions, and later maybe even going and joining a circle of friends in his neighborhood or at his job, which will have such workshops. And then we need to cause the entire humanity such an atmosphere that we have to rise up to a different level of treatment of people, of these discussions. And here we need to have mutual work from the media channels and newspapers, and we need to have such movies and songs, everything that we can, in order to give a person the first push or first pull towards such meetings where he'll be under the influence of this new environment. This is actually the solution for him to enter such an environment that will help him, draw him to begin to give, because the phenomenon of depression, it exists because people are in the will to receive. They want to receive because a person constantly wants to feel fulfillment within oneself. And here we can't reach this fulfillment anymore. We're not able to satisfy ourselves and fulfill ourselves. And this is why we're so helpless. We're so depressed instead of happy. And the moment that a person begins to feel the influence of a different environment, which teaches him how to get out of himself through discussions, through very simple things of contact with others, and disconnecting him from himself through the power of the environment, and then he begins to feel himself differently, outside of himself, outside oneself. And by that, he gradually goes from seeing the world within himself to seeing the world outside of him. And this is the solution, in short, only that. So the influence of the environment on a person, instead of the current environment, which is influencing one with everything that organized this empty bubble inside him, this depressive bubble inside him, we need to influence him with such an environment that will give him a different example, to see himself as connected to others, integrated with others, to feel life there with all the changes and currents that he can experience in others. So this is the general solution and the full solution for everyone. It's a root treatment. You're treating the root of the problem, treating the levels of desires and thoughts. And from that, of course, all of the other symptoms will disappear. I want to go a little deeper into this state because we feel this is the most difficult state. I'll try to describe this feeling, actually, which people feel when they're depressed. It's a feeling of going inside, turning inside, and everything outside is not felt. And if I'm able to feel anything outside, any bit of livelihood, it's from the inside. There's a tiny feeling of liveliness, and also the feeling that nobody understands me. Nobody understands what I'm going through. And so nobody can also help me because nobody understands me. And then I'm stuck inside myself. So I'm trying to feel from the inside what can be that point that will be able to awaken me to escape this place that is so closed off, like a closed black box or room, which inside I am, and I have no way to escape. If a person is alive, then he's always under the influence of an environment. And here the problem is, or the issue is, how much we can try with the influence that we still have on this person to bring him these discussions, this integration with an environment that treats him by helping him out of himself. This is all that we can do. But he doesn't want to get out of himself. That's exactly the problem. It doesn't matter. Of course he doesn't want to exit himself. So what will you bring him? You're saying I'll meet him through his TV or computer because that's what he has. Well, it depends on how good an expert we are of bringing him such things. Discussions on TV, songs, games. At his workplace where he has no choice, put him in for an hour during his work day, put him in a workshop. Or also kids at school. Give the kids homework to do the same thing with their parents in the living room. You're saying we'll find the ways to reach a person. So I'm saying, okay, you've reached him. What do you bring him? His situation. Let's connect for a moment to his situation, not disconnect ourselves from a person. I teach him how to act. What is acting? It's when you're in a state of depression and you need to go to the opposite state. Well, wait a minute. Let's go a little deeper inside him. When a person is depressed, it's a very powerful feeling of feeling the self inside me. Nobody else understands. Nobody else knows. They have nothing to give me. I have a very strong, powerful feeling of myself, even though it's this great whole, but it's me, and I'm not connected to anything. I'm not open towards anything. I don't want to see anybody. I know that this is the way it is. I know that I'm right, and no one will tell me otherwise. This, more or less, is the feeling inside the internal world. And you're saying, okay, I'll grab you somewhere on the TV, at work. Now, from this point, if you can put yourself in my shoes and talk to me from there, because I'm completely negated to anything that could come and try and change me. No one can give me everything. I am the one who's smart. I am the one who knows, and I know that everything is screwed up, that life is dark. I know that it's this way. And now you meet me. Talk to me. So I'll tell you simply. You worked at a lot of great big organizations, and your manager tells you, Mr. Levi, today from 2 to 3 in the afternoon, during your work day, everybody is gathering in our meeting room, all of our department, 200 people, doesn't matter how many, everybody's coming down. And you're going to hear the announcement, and you have to come. It's part of your workday. And you guys come there. They don't tell you anything. But part of the work, we want to increase our production. We want to better our relationships because of people's bad relationships, because of the lowly mood, because we are in such states. Our work is and our produce is decreased, and our earnings are decreased. So, and people aren't talking so much with each other. This is why we have a lot of problems with our factory because of that, and with our office, our big organization, no matter what. So here, we want to build new relationships. We have no choice. So we brought some experts. They saw the numbers. They saw everything. They checked everything. And so we're taking these experts, we're taking these professionals, taking this big office to help us and treat us. And they promise that after this, everything will go up in 20%. Our profits will increase by 20%. And we're interested in that. So now, from now on, you, 2 or 3 times a week, will begin to receive here their treatment. What is this treatment? Now they will talk to you. Okay, we're sitting. I'm going to be with my phone for a little while. They said to be here in the big room. I've arrived. I'm sitting here. You're the instructor that came from that company that's putting us through this process. Neitza and I and the entire department, which is about 30 people, are sitting here with you. Talk to us. And me, Oren, specifically. I am a character who's depressed. Neitza is not so much, but I'm deeply depressed. Nobody feels it, but I'm completely closed off. Do whatever you want with me. Now it's going to happen. I'm here because my boss told me to come here. So he said that I have to do whatever he tells me during my workday. Okay, so disconnect your phones. Okay, so now I'm even more depressed. That's fine. Now they're going to teach me how to act. They're going to teach me a game. What is the game? I am now in the state where I'm in, and I need to move into a completely different state. Let's say I'm now a man, in my 60s, getting closer to my 70s, and now they're telling me you need to act and play a 20-year-old young woman or a 15-year-old girl. Is this possible? Okay, so what am I trying to say? This is just going from extreme to extreme, but I am playing in a situation that I don't want to be in, or maybe I do want to be in, but it's completely not me. Like you said, I'm depressed. I don't care about anything. Forget about me. I'm hardly doing my job. I'm not focused or anything, but there's no choice. I'm just waiting for me to go home and go lie down. And now you've already added this headache to me where I have to sit with 30 other people in the room. My troubles are increasing. Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but I'm forcing you to act a situation that I determine. Me, as your guide, as your instructor for your group, I determine the state that you have to act. So begin to organize 8 or 10 people together with your chairs. Look at each other. And we begin our games. Laughs. Where you don't want to laugh, but you're forced to laugh, you're forced to talk, you're forced to smile and to make all kinds of faces. You're forced to say things that you feel like saying or you don't feel like saying, what you do think or you don't think. Nobody's forcing you to reveal anything that you think or feel to open your heart, but you're having these external actions done upon you. I'm telling you to smile, you to force yourself to smile, and you smile. I am putting you through these actions that you have to perform. What are we, stupid kids? What are we, retards? Yeah, you have to do whatever I tell you. I'm paying. But I disrespect this. I'm telling you what I'm feeling as we go through the process. Yeah, I'm here with you. Mister, either you do this or you don't. I'm telling you, you have to do this. And suddenly you begin to feel that from all of these expressions, this talk, something is beginning to change in you. Something is beginning to change in you. You make all kinds of efforts with yourself that you forget your internal situation. Look at where it starts from. It starts from me forcing you. This is why I'm telling you that I'm forcing you. I'm telling you, you have to smile. Smile like this and look at everyone else. Look at everyone. Look at him for a minute and at him for half a minute. At everyone. You're forcing yourself. You're forcing your internal state in order to make this external face. You have already exited, to a certain extent, your internal state. Do you understand? These exercises, they're not stupid. The external acts, they demand your internal effort. But I have no strength inside to do anything. I'm disgusted by this. You do this because you have no choice. You've been brought here and told to do this. That's it. And you do it. You do all kinds of actions like this, and then you start talking. You start talking to this Mrs. What's her name? Nitsa. Okay, start telling Mrs. Nitsa how beautiful she is. You'll say, you're actually telling yourself, I don't want to look at her, I don't see her, I don't want to see her. What does he want from me? I don't know, but I have no choice. I'll say it. And then you begin to say it. Let's say it's you in this situation. What are you going to say? I have to say it with great excitement. Let's see. Say it when you're depressed. You're depressed. You're depressed. And now somebody's telling you, now somebody just is dropped on you and from 2 to 3 every day and telling you that now you need to sit in front of Nitsa and tell her she's pretty. You're bringing another reason for him to be depressed. I wish for everyone to die here and this place to be burned. Well, you thought this way anyway. No, but I'm telling you what I feel. Okay, so I'm telling you that now that I'm forcing you to do this, I'm actually treating you inside. Because when you're actually forcing your internal situation or state to change. I have no choice. If I don't pressure you and I don't have you force you through these actions, you'll never get out of your state. I have no option to reach you, your thoughts and feelings, except through all of these internal feelings and external actions that I'm forcing you to do. But these external actions are tied to your internal states. If I could take my finger and reach your internal desire and your thought, I would twist it, turn it in some way, but I have no choice. So I'm telling you, now smile to everyone for half a minute. Hold your mouth in this way, stretch it. That's it. Now tell Nitsa how beautiful she is. You exit yourself. You need to imagine. You're not even looking at her. But you have to say a few words. So then your desire, your thought, it begins. They're forced completely. They must now think how to build a sentence. how beautiful you are. You have such a nice hair, such nice eyes. You have to say it. You overcome your inner state. You have to overcome it, and by doing that, by beginning to do that, now I'm forcing you. Listen to what he's saying, and add to the sentence that the other says something of your own. And now you're beginning to integrate with the other person's desire, and you begin to talk about somebody else that's outside of you. I'm helping you out of yourself. I'm forcing you out of yourself in this way. And with very simple actions. I can do this non-verbally, but by you passing something from one to the other. Maybe draw something. Let's say you begin to draw a line, and somebody else comes and needs to think of what you meant to do, and then add another line. And the third person also needs to try and see what you meant to do. And together, this is an integration of thoughts. You begin to integrate, to connect to others. You begin to feel there's something outside me here, another desire, another thought, and I have to absorb them, perceive them, attain them, to connect to them. You can do it with these very basic, elementary, sharp actions, because I take into consideration that you are completely closed off and stuck and inhibited. So I am only giving you one thing. Afterwards, I tell you, Oren, repeat the way I tapped on the desk right now, and you have to repeat it. So you listen, you force yourself to listen, and then you need to activate yourself, your imagination, and your memory, and everything. I'm forcing you this entire hour that I have you in my possession in this way that, Mister, in 5 or 10 minutes. You're not even depressed or anything. You don't even feel yourself anymore, because I am constantly forcing you to do these actions that are mine, of my desire and my thought, and to connect through these instructions to Nitza, to Chaim, to Moshe, to whoever sitting here, to everyone. Because I have control over you to begin with. Otherwise, you're closed off and there's nothing I can do. So we need to reach a person in accordance to that. Most people aren't so closed off to such an extent. If you bring them a series on TV. Wait a minute, before that, I want to ask about what you just talked about. Inside of this activity that you gave us, there were two different kinds of activities. Let's say until now what we went through. There were these activities that you talked about, like this tapping I needed to repeat. This seems to me also intolerable, but it's still maybe a level that I can somehow accept. Let's play with our children like kids. You know how they play like that. But I'm not a kid. What, are you bringing me back to kindergarten? It doesn't matter. I bought your time. Now, there's an instructor standing above us, and he's telling us to play these games. Actually, I don't know the game, but I know that kids do that with their fingers. You have to play with me. That's it. I don't want to do it either, but he's standing above us, this instructor, and forcing us to. So let's play, and we have to play. So we start. We hate it. We don't want to do it. Maybe it's embarrassing, but we have to. I have a feeling that next time you come to our organization, I'll take a sick day off. Maybe, but you're already laughing. Okay, but let's analyze it. There are two different levels. The first one is you're telling me that if I'm retarded, I'll tap like this and you'll repeat. Okay, so you put me in kindergarten. At least they're paying me money for this. Okay, but I want to separate it because there are things here that the instructor is telling me to do. That's one level. But there's another problem here, a stronger problem, that sometimes you already make me relate to others, to operate your feelings, to talk with your feeling. You have to, let's say, I sat next to you, let's say it's not Mrs. Nitsa, let's say an old woman, or maybe she's already retired, who came here, and you can't stand such people, she's nagging, and you have to tell her, or to tell us about her, as if she's a 20-year-old beauty queen. Okay, so you're illustrating the problem, because if before I could find some inner strength to repeat these tappings that the instructor is telling me to do, that's one level. But now he's already inventing even greater problems. It's not enough that I can't stand the situation. He's forcing me to connect to somebody here. I'm not sure that. Okay, so you'll watch how others are doing it and learn how others are doing it. And everybody will talk about Nitsa and say that she is a beauty queen. Start. Let's say all the men and women who are sitting here, because we need to understand this is demanded from us in order to be more productive in our work. The manager thinks this way. There's research on this. There are entire organizations that work on this, and they came and told us this is the problem. Why should you fire people? Instead, do these workshops. We are certain that this will help and enliven the factory and increase the gains. And so there's no choice, and they're taking it completely seriously. So let's say 8 people, men and women, are sitting together. They have to tell everyone about Nitsa, that she's a beauty queen, and talk about Oren, that he's a genius. Please, go ahead. And about the other guy, that he's Rambo, and so on and so on, okay? So you begin to, the most important thing is that we're forcing you to exit your internal state and to use your imagination. What happens here? We are by that teaching you that you can live in this imagination. You cannot experience this depression. I can walk in the street and smile to everyone and see the sun and everything and not feel my internal misery. What's changed? Simply my attitude, my approach. Nothing else. We don't change anything else. Only the way that we approach life. I suddenly begin to sing instead of eating myself up all the time. I can smile to people instead of wanting to kill anyone who comes closer to me. I drive on the road and I'm smiling towards everyone instead of feeling, how they are on the road. I feel more comfortable and better. Besides that, I suddenly begin to feel that I have strength. Maybe I'll go out in the evening and have fun. Suddenly I see that my missus is really beautiful. Maybe I should go out with her to some coffee place. You were beginning to have a different attitude towards life. Instead of, imagine that, instead of being a man who's depressed at work, you know what it's like. You change your life for the better because you have to live anyway, but you begin to feel them differently. You exited that radical, extreme state you were in, and already you feel more alive. You're saying you won't come next time? Of course you'll come, because your habit becomes your second nature. Suddenly you begin to feel, the moment you feel that you don't feel like it, you're suddenly saying, no, I'll smile right now. Where are those exercises that they taught me? Now I'll smile. I'll put on a song with a good beat at home, And with the beat, my organs will begin to dance as well. You already begin to learn how to better your situation, and this is just the beginning. Actually, our goal is to bring you to a state in which you begin to live in others and not within yourself, to bring you to this integration with the society, the big global society that is fully integral, interconnected, unified, within which you feel yourself as one who lives the life of society. And if everybody lives the life of society in this way, then everybody feels the opposite of this being closed off and depressed. No, they feel that this the height of liveliness and spiritedness. In this depressed state, why is there this internal force that is drawing us inwards? It's the opposite. This, because you're describing something very good, but there's something inside me that is resisting it. This is called the helpmeet other. It's pushing me. And truly, depression is not pulling me downwards. It's not grabbing me by the feet and pulling me downwards. It's pushing me to a different, higher level of life, to life in the degree, the human speaking level, so I won't stay on the animal level. This, therefore, depression is not an illness. How do you put it? It's like a trigger or a reason for me to go high up and to escape it, right? But to escape it to a higher level. It's really helping me rise above without depression, without feeling bad, without feeling the lack, helplessness in the current state. I wouldn't advance. I can see how much depression has helped me, because I was often depressed in life. It helped me very much. First of all, it didn't let me do all kinds of nonsense. I'd look at my friends. Well, not my friends, the ones I studied with in school and university, and I saw what they did. I felt that I don't want to do it. There's no point in it. It's pointless. What will I get from that? Let him be a professor. What if I'll be a professor? So what? I was always drawn to something more and more internal. And this was all because my lack of satisfaction, it pulled me and pushed me forward. So the lack of satisfaction didn't paralyze me, but I was very critical. And I wanted to cancel and throw away anything that didn't have the highest meaning that I could imagine to myself. And this is also a kind of depression, so to speak, because I looked at everything and I didn't feel like doing any of the things I saw. And then I was like helpless. So what should I do? And then I started checking and searching. What should I move for? What is worthwhile? And then what we need, aside from teaching a person how to exit this lowest point where he's not able to even scrutinize his state, we need to bring him to a situation where he can already be able to scrutinize what he's going through, and then to give him tools to perform this high discernment for the high purpose, which he didn't see it when he was depressed. And now we're showing it to him that there's life outside of your body. Life where you can feel yourself different. The speaking human level means that you're tied to everyone. You're connected to everyone. It's not that you changed because you used to be on the vegetative or animal level and now you reach the human level. The human level is our consciousness. It's our desires and our thoughts. And specifically them, they are the ones within which you feel empty. So then within them you feel empty so that you'll be able to fill it. But in our lives here, you don't see what you can fill it with, because they are desires and thoughts that belong to the human level, to a higher level. You can't with your life here on the animal level. You can't fill them in that way. We'll help you rise above. We'll open the horizons for you. We'll show you new things, and then you'll enjoy life. It's not an illness. It's an incentive. It's a push. Also, before, we developed in such a way that we felt, once people used to live in this primitive way before the time of slavery, and then they felt that the period of slavery is an evolved period. This is the evolved world, and they developed this period. They saw something very modern in it, something progressive in it. They lived in the time of slavery for many years. There are some places in the world where it still exists, and they felt that it's not worthwhile to stay in this period of slavery, not the slaves and not the masters. They wanted to develop something else. Every period, it comes to the saturation, and that's it, and then it pushes you forward. We are now in a period where our entire world, the previous world also, it's come to this saturation, and we need to advance and go forward to this new period. But here, we have a special advancement, a very qualitative one, because here what we need to do is not to improve our lives between our bodies, just like all the other levels through which we advanced, because all in all we changed the relationships between our bodies, from you and us and everyone, a little more equality, a little less equality. In our different classes in this life, this all in all, in our corporeal life, also exists in the animal kingdom. There's one that's higher and one that's lower. Even in one pack, they have these relations with very determined hierarchies. So this is how we also used to be. But now we need to move onwards to a completely different period, a very special one, where the world has become integral. We're all tied together. We're all dependent on one another. And we need to derive a lot of conclusions from that there's nothing bad in our world, and we're drawn to equality. And this equality can only happen if we feel one another as equals, so much so that each one feels everybody else that much. And so we need to do these exercises. Let's do such exercises that we'll feel where nature is pushing us to. We've always developed in such a way that humanity tried to reach these new situations. So also here, we need to do this. So we are the pioneers of this new situation. So let's do it. Let's start building these small organizations, workshops here and there. Let's start checking, is it right or not in these relationships to succeed more in our job, in our organization, or in the family, or at schools, in education, or everywhere. Because if we discover now before us that nature compels us in such a way, then it's worthwhile for us to proceed in this direction. And then we see the depression on the one hand, and the general crisis on the other, and everything. All of it is just these forces that are forcing us to rise up to a higher degree. Why is it important for you when you treat depression? You were talking about two levels. The first one is helping a person out of this lowest point, because that's where you're paralyzed. Right, because I understood that's where you awakened me through all of these external factors that can influence you. I can't just stay over and come to us, to this workshop, and Right, because when I'm depressed, I don't want to go to the workshop. So you grabbed me at my place of work, and you did all these exercises with me, like those tappings. You wanted to shake me out of this state. But later, I see that it's very important for you to begin to get me to connect with people, and I don't really grasp that because my problem is with myself, not with other people. No, a person. A person is connected to others. It's others who are constantly giving you your thoughts and feelings. You have nothing inside you that is your own. You didn't choose your qualities that you were born with, or the family, or your friends at school. You didn't choose anything at the school you went to. And now you're all baked from the oven, and it's not you. It's not you who chose it, not the dough that you're made of, and not the form that you have, and the way you were baked with all kinds of spices and all the additions that you got. It's also not you. You think that it's you, but it's not. So who am I? You have no me. You have no me. Now the point is being revealed. This black, bitter point that is you is being revealed, where you think, who am I? What am I? What am I for? This is now being revealed. Depression? That's me, who I am? No, depression is the sign that you have this point inside you where you look at the entire world and yourself and you don't see any point in it. Black. Right. So this point is what you need to fulfill. You need to fulfill yourself. You're not happy with the world. You're not satisfied with yourself. So everything that you were brought from the outside, whatever they did to you, that they made you into, around you or yourself, together. It's all, I'm sorry that they did this. So how can I build myself differently? How can I do this? What's left for me? Only one thing, to now begin to change myself in such a way that I will be under the influence of the new environment. You told me, now you've even turned me around even more. You said you have nothing. You are not you. Who are you? You are this black point, this depressed point. That's me. That's me? Yes, and this depressed point, I want to turn it into a point from which you can go onwards to build your future world, your next degree, the form that is called the speaking, the new one, that you will be born anew from this point. So what am I telling you? That this point of depression is the point of revolution inside you, the point of turning around. You need an environment around this point to build a new environment around this point of depression. And for this environment to influence this point and begin to develop out of it, just like from a drop of semen, it will begin to evolve your new character, your new image. This is how it happens. But why are you bringing me people? I can't stand myself. Now you want me to talk to people? But I don't want it. Because they'll be your environment. Doesn't matter what you want. No, me. You're my instructor. And you've grabbed my depressed inner point. And you're telling me this is the point of turnaround. And let's say I'm willing to continue with you, and I feel that it's true. If you don't want me to, I won't explain anything to you. I'm just trying to give you a foundation, even though you're not willing to accept it yet. But I want to open up for you this whole matter, how you can go to the next degree, the speaking degree. Even though you don't want to hear me, that's fine. Yeah, but you know what? I do feel something about this point of depression, because how else will I change you? All these people are just a theater. They're puppets. Each of them is going to play and act whatever I tell him to towards you. And you'll play whatever I tell you towards them. In this way, everybody will cheat everybody, but also raise everybody up to the next degree. Because we can plan such an environment in such a way and change it and upgrade it however we want to. And it will change each one of us. We're building a kind of elevator here, a kind of mechanism that will do whatever we want. It will influence me and turn me from this point for the first time in my life. I will do something that I choose to do, that I am doing, that I'm influencing myself. It's as if I am this drop of semen that's the very point of depression, and I now determine how it will develop through this environment. This environment becomes my womb. It's a wise womb in thoughts and desires and influences. I just don't like people. You don't understand. But they're not people. They are sources of influence on me. Whatever I tell them, that's what they'll do. What? They're not people. There are no people here. Let's say there are 8 or 800. It doesn't matter. These are not people. They are sources of influence on my black point. Oren says he doesn't understand. What they project onto me is all kinds of understandings, insights, qualities from a higher degree. And then I begin to be impressed by them, to absorb them. Just like when I was a baby before, on the animal level, with my mom and dad, and suddenly I absorbed from them all that I did. Now I am planning what I want to be integrated with now. How do I now want to evolve? Do you understand the state you're in? You're now inside a computer, inside a new world that you are building. You program the influence that you will receive, and this becomes your nature. Whatever I want them to now influence me with, this is what will be inside me. And tomorrow, what they'll influence me with, what they influence me today will be my I tomorrow. That's what I'll want, that's what I'll desire, that's how I'll talk, that's how I'll think, and everything. I am now in creation. I am creating myself. Do you understand what we've reached? It's not a simple act just to help you out of your depression. We're using this depression as a trigger to raising you up into a higher degree. But I don't like people. I can't stand people. At work, there's no other choice. I have to go to work to make money. If I could work from home, like you said, trust me, I'd go home. But there's people at my home as well, so I don't want to be there. Very well. Instead of these people, we'll just make some cardboard outlines, some images. We'll put 8 such cardboard outlines around you. I have this dream that I live not even alone in the world. I live in nature. Everything is natural. There's nobody. It's quiet, silent. Just me and nature. What is nature without animals? Oh, there can be some birds there, seagulls. But not a tiger or anything. No, not sources of danger. So this is the calm. I'll be there. And what next? What are you going to do? I'll be calm. I'll be able to think. About what? I don't know. But there's nothing. What will you think about except for you? Let's say I'm close to the sea. Seagulls, ocean, every day you get the shh noise of the waves. You'll stop hearing it because they're constantly in your ears. Your ear will get used to it. No matter what, the most important thing is there are no people. There is nobody. Good, nice. And now what? And now you're telling me you have a point of turnaround in your life. Notice it. It's an important place. It can be a stepping point to a new life. Because you have no choice. Because you won't be able to survive alone in nature. No, that's in my dream. But it's not realistic. But now I go back to my depression. You said this point of depression is a revolutionary point. If you sharpen it, from it you have the door to a new world. So I am willing to continue. But what are you saying in the next sentence? You begin to give me more people. Why they are the problem? Why are you giving them to me as a solution? That's why I told you my dream about nature where there's nothing. It's just quiet. You have no choice. You can't escape to this dream. You have to live with these people. Okay, so to the minimum possible. I don't want more and more contact with them. I'm bringing you to the healing, to this infusion that will help you, that will heal you and save you. It's an IV. If you don't want it, we'll have to add a little more pain. There's no other way. And then you'll agree. What else can we do? Tell me. There's nothing we can do. So, say we plan behind the scenes that we will nag you in all kinds of ways. Suddenly, you'll have all kinds of things at home break, like your air conditioning and your car. Okay, so I'll bring a technician, and what will he do? He'll cheat me. So that's why I'm telling you. I don't like people. This happens to me all the time. I'm telling you, you have no choice. We will give you such problems in life that you'll have to run around from morning to night, except for your job, only in order to put out all these small fires in order to exist. That's it. Suddenly, you've gone to the supermarket, you bought everything, you filled your fridge for a month, so you won't have to go out to the super, and it all spoiled. You come home and everything is spoiled. It stinks. And again, you need to fix your fridge or buy a new one and fill it up again. And in the meantime, you have no time. You're telling me why I'm depressed? I know. This is why this is what happens to me all the time. So I'm telling you that out of no choice, we are forced to give you in even bigger troubles. So you will be willing to go through the healing. Let's say your leg hurts just a little bit. And I'm willing to stand it for a little while. But if it gets worse, then I have to go to the doctor. And then he tells me, Mister, you have to treat it. You see, so if you add pain, then you're willing to treat it. What you're saying now is you're just giving me excuses. Either I try with all kinds of sophistications to help you out of this point, or if there's no other way and you're especially stubborn, then you know what nature does. Life enters every small place around you, and you can't escape it. You will finally have to move on to the next degree of life, because this is our evolution. There's no choice. It's no coincidence that the world has entered this general crisis. Are there people around me in this next degree, or am I finally in peace? You're in such a nice, good, tight connection with them that you feel them as part of yourself. Nobody bothers you, even if they sleep, even 10 more people sleep inside your bed. Imagine that. Suddenly you say, wow, I have an apartment with 3 rooms and I live on my own in my bed. It's 2 meters on 2 meters. What do I need such a big bed for? 3 or 4 more friends can sleep in my bed, at least. And I have such a big blanket. It's enough for everyone. To the modern person, this sounds... Are you helping me out of the depression, or are you making me even more depressed? I'm illustrating the pink future to you. It's not pink. It will come. Not like this, of course, but we have no choice. That's what I want to say. We are in such a problem of depression. It's no coincidence. It's nature that is closing us off in such a bubble that will force us through blows, through hardships. And nature has no problem. It will force us. It makes no compromises. It will force us to reach connection, the degree of connection. Out of this lack of choice where you don't want to see anyone, you'll begin to understand that it's the opposite. That when you go out to everyone together and lose yourself inside them, By that, you'll find yourself. We need to talk about it a little more, but this is the solution. Our time is up, I'm afraid. Thank you very much, Rav Laitman. Thank you, Nitsa. And I recommend that we think about what we heard today. And Rav tells him, poor thing. So, Rav Laitman, a summary in one sentence until next time. I want to know next time, how are you going to pass your time from this talk to the next talk? From this Day of Atonement to the next Day of Atonement. Okay. Friends, and thank you for being with us. I hope very much that you received thoughts that will open new directions to think of life through, about our depressions and our joys. I think we should see this discussion a few times and think about what's inside it, what's waiting for us. Thank you for being with us. Until next time, all the best and goodbye.